Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm going to show you today how to crochet this little scarf done in a wavy puff stitch or chevron style. It is quite lacy and I've used an 8mm hook and an Aran yarn to enhance this lacy effect. Okay, so to start off with, you need to first of all chain 34 stitches. So here we have our chain of 34, and to start with you'll need to do a single crochet into the second chain from your hook, and then you do single crochets all the way along. This gives a nice little foundation for the lacy stitch. If you were to just go into the chains, it wouldn't work. Well, it would just look very, the holes would be quite large. Okay, so you're just going to do a complete row of your single crochets and you'll end up with 33. Okay, so I'll meet you when you've done that. So once you've done your 33 single crochets, you make 3 chains to turn and into the base of where the 3 chains are into the next stitch you'll need to do a puff stitch. So to do the puff stitch you do a yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over again and pull through a loop. You need to do this a total of 4 times. 3, 4. And that will leave you with 8 loops and the one that was already on your hook. So you yarn over and pull through the 8 loops and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. And there you have your little puff stitch. Next you do 1 chain and do 1 more puff stitch into the same space. So yarn over exactly like we did before, 4 times. So it's 4 yarn overs, pulling through your loops, and then pull through the 8 loops and then pull through 2, and then make 2 chains. You then skip a chain and do a double crochet into the next stitch and another double crochet to the next stitch and 1 more. So a total of 3 double crochets, and there you have your little popcorn stitches and your double crochets. Next you do 2 chains, and now we're going to do some more puff stitches, a total of 3 this time, but what we're going to do is aim to make the shape of the foundation curve upwards slightly. So to achieve this you need to skip a stitch, yarn over and do an incomplete puff stitch. So you yarn over, insert and pull through a loop 4 times, all in the same stitch. You just pull through the 8 loops, but you don't complete the puff stitch. Then you do a yarn over and miss a stitch, and into the next stitch you do another puff stitch. So yarn over, insert and pull up a loop 4 times. Leaves you with 8 loops there, and now you have a total of 3 loops on your hook. Just leave those as they are, skip another stitch, in the next stitch make another incomplete puff stitch. So yarn over, insert and pull through a loop 4 times. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, yes. Pull through the 8 loops, and that leaves you with a total of 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, and pull through to close. And there you can see it's created a little shape, a curved shape at the bottom. And then you do 2 chains, you skip a stitch and do a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Okay, so there we've now got our 3 double crochets here and 3 double crochets on this side with those little puff stitches nestled between. And now we need to do 2 chains and then skip another stitch, and into the next stitch we're going to do a complete puff stitch. So it's yarn over, pull up a loop 4 times, and that will give you 8 loops. You pull through all 8 loops and also then through the final 2, and you do an extra chain, and then into the same stitch you're going to do another puff stitch, a complete one. So yarn over, pull up a loop 4 times, just count 2, 4, 6, 8, pull through the 8 loops, leaves you 2, pull through 2 and then do a chain, and then again still into the same stitch another complete puff stitch. All your puff stitches are made of yarning over 4 times and pulling through a loop. And what that's done, it's helped them fan out at the top. Okay, so now you do 2 chains, skip a stitch, and into the next 3 stitches a double crochet. I am using US terminology today, so in the UK that would be a treble. See, there you go. And now you do another 2 chains, skip a stitch, and now we're going to do our incomplete sets of puff stitches. So yarning over and pulling through a loop 4 times, just pull through the first 8 stitches and leave 2 stitches on your hook. Yarn over, skip a stitch, into the next stitch, another incomplete puff stitch using yarn over, pulling through a loop 4 times, making sure you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, pull through the 8 loops, and then that leaves you 3 loops on your hook. Then skip a stitch, into the next stitch, yarning over and pulling through again a loop 4 times, and then pull through 8 loops, leaves you 4 on your hook, yarn over and pull through 4 loops, and then you close in 2 chains, and you skip a stitch and you do 3 double crochets. In the next stitch you do 1, and the next one another one, and the next stitch another double crochet, total of 3, and then 2 chains, 1, 2, yarn over, then the last stitch, just take care to go under the 2 loops, the top 2 loops of your last stitch, and you need to make a complete puff stitch. So yarning over, pulling through 4 times, and then pull through the first 8 loops, and then the last 2, and then do 1 chain, and then do another puff stitch. Yarning over and pulling through your loops 4 times. and then you've completed that row. And what you need to do now is 3 chains and turn. So I'll just zoom out and you can have a little look at what it looks like. There we go. I always think when you just do this, it reminds me a little bit of a moustache. So there you go. You've got your sides here. This measures about 11 inches. I am using an Aran weight yarn with an 8mm hook. The larger hook gives it a lacier effect, but you just do whatever you feel is best for your yarn and the effect you like. Now then, so from now on, the next row will be the repeat row. So it's just 1 row repeat. So it's very similar to the row we've done just now, just a slight difference in how many stitches you skip. Okay, so always in the side stitch you do a complete puff stitch. Again, yarning over, inserting your hook and pulling through a loop 4 times, and then a chain, and then another puff stitch, and then 2 chains. And then into this puff stitch, the top of it, which will be, if you look for your 2 loops, that's the top of your stitch there, you do a double crochet. And now, because we're working in a set of 3 double crochets, the next double crochet along goes into the top of this double crochet here. And because the reverse of the stitch is facing us, the top of the loop, the top loop of the stitch is to the left. So you go in there and do another double crochet. And into the next double crochet, top of it, another double crochet. So you've done a total of 3 double crochets. And now you do 2 chains. And in this double crochet, the top of the double crochet, you're going to do an incomplete puff stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook and pull through a loop 4 times. You have 8 there and pull through, and then you have 2 loops left on your hook. Yarn over again, and now you need to aim for the joining loop, the joining stitch for all these 3 puff stitches in the row below. And if you look carefully, you can see how they all meet in this central stitch here. So just aim for that little section there. Give your hook a wriggle. It's a little bit tight, but it will go through. And then do another incomplete puff stitch, yarning over, pulling through a loop 4 times. And then pull through 8 loops. That leaves you 3 loops, yarn over, and then skip over these puff stitches and find the first treble on this side, and going into the top of the treble, well, I should say the double crochet, you need to do another puff stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop 4 times. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, pull through 8 stitches. You've now got 4 loops on your hook. Just bring them together and then yarn over and pull through. Then do 2 chains, 1, 2, and into the next double crochet here, the top of it, just to the left, another double crochet, and again another double crochet to the top of it, the next one, and then you need your third double crochet, skip over this gap and into the first puff stitch of the top of the chevron, well, the wave, the first puff stitch, you do another double crochet. So that gives you your set of 3. And now you do 2 chains, 1, 2, and then into the top, the middle puff stitch into the top, you need to do another puff stitch. And we do that 4 times, pull through, and it's a complete one this time, and then 1 chain, and then another puff stitch in exactly the same space. 1, 2, 3, 4, pull through, and then a chain, and in the same space again, another puff stitch, pull through, and then 2 chains. And there you've completed the top of the chevron or wave. I think it's more like a wave, to be honest. And now we need to do a double crochet into this puff stitch, and then a double crochet into the next double crochet, and a double crochet into the next double crochet to give us our 3 double crochets. By skipping over this, it's kind of like pulling it into shape. And now we need to do 2 chains and an incomplete puff stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook and pull through a loop 4 times, all in that stitch. Pull through. Don't close it. Leave your 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, and then where all these stitches join, in that stitch there, just insert your hook, get a little wriggle, pull through a loop, and do this a total of 4 times for your next incomplete puff stitch. And there you've got your 8 loops. Pull through 8, that leaves you with 3 on your hook, and now you skip over these to your first double crochet, and into the top of that double crochet you do another incomplete puff stitch by inserting your hook and pulling through a loop 4 times. I think I might have already done 2, 4, 6, 8, yes, so pull through, and then you have your 4 loops on your hook again, pull through and do 2 chains. And now we need to do in the next double crochet a double crochet, and in the next one another double crochet, and in the next puff stitch a double crochet and 2 chains. And we're at the end now, and we need to do in this end puff stitch, we need to do 2 puff stitches, which is the yarn over, inserting your hook and pulling through a loop 4 times. These are going to be complete ones, and then 1 chain, and then another puff stitch, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, pull through a loop, and then close, and then turn and do your 3 chains, and the next row is exactly the same as the row that we've just done. And you keep doing this all the way for however long you'd like your scarf or wrap or whatever it is you're making to be. If you'd like to make it a lot wider and use this for perhaps a baby blanket, you can, instead of doing 34 chains, do 66 and add 1 on for your turning chain. So that would be 64 chains. So really you need 33 plus 1 to start off this little area, a wave. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Just give you another quick look at how it is when you do more rows. Just got it snagged on the stitch marker. Yes, so this is what it works up like, and yeah, it's quite pretty and lacy and soft. So if you're not already subscribed, it'd be great if you could, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tutorial. Take care. Bye for now.